What's up, clan? IslandTraderFX here. Good to see you guys again. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Today we're not gonna be doing the regular P&L and all that sort of stuff. We will be looking at liquidity, and sweeps of liquidity. That is what we're gonna be looking at. Liquidity sweeps, in brief. All right. I wouldn't say it's a topic that is talked about much, but I'm going to go ahead and try my very best to break down that topic. We're going to be looking at examples of liquidity sweeps and oftentimes when you will see liquidity sweeps happen in the market, so you have a better idea as to where to put your stop loss and a better idea as to when to enter the trade. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and get straight into the charts. Ciao. Okay, so now that we're on the charts, we're going to be looking at 4 different examples. Like I mentioned, price is fractal. So what you see on one time frame, you're going to see it on the other time frame. We're going to be looking at the monthly, weekly, daily, and 4-hour. So here we have EuroCAD. We could definitely see that EuroCAD has been bullish. Each individual candle here represents 1 month of price action. So meaning at one point price was here, and just before the month, well, I wouldn't say just before the month ended, but when the month ended, price closed up here. Okay, pretty much we could see it's in a bullish territory. Now, where liquidity sweeps are concerned, basically a liquidity sweep is when price reaches for a high or reaches for a low and it does not close below that low or does not close above that high. Essentially, it would reach for one direction and move in the other direction. And this is what we're seeing here, right? Why does price do that? Price does that because it is often believed that there's a lot of liquidity, aka money, at lows and highs, right? If I were to enter a buy right here at this level, so we're on the line chart, if I were to enter a buy at this level, if price has to follow bullish territory, we should be forming higher lows and higher highs. My stop loss would obviously come below here, because if price decides to break and close below this, essentially we're moving into a bearish territory. So at lows and at highs, you have stops. Stops is basically money, aka liquidity. So oftentimes you would find price stretching for a low, stretching for a high, and then moving in the opposite direction. And this is essentially what we're seeing here. Let me just jump back to the line chart, right? This right here is a low. To the eyes of a beginner, you might not see it as a low, but if you jump to your line chart, it is clear as day. So right here, see right here, this is a low. And what did price do? And that's on the monthly chart. Price pushed all the way down here. Okay, and you could see the wick right here. Price created a wick, swept this low, and what did it do? It closed above the low. Okay, after it closed above the low, what we're essentially looking for to further confirm that price wants to move higher is to have a close above this high. So the push started from the top here all the way to the bottom here. For us to have more confidence, in looking for bullish opportunities for price to go higher, it would be ideal for you to wait for price to close above this high right here. And we could see with this push of a candle, that was last month. We could see last month was extremely bullish for the EuroCAD. When price pushed all the way up here, that in itself just gives us more confirmation. So this month we could look for a buy anywhere inside of this zone right here. Okay, and being that price is not in there as yet, you guys could take note of that for sure. So this is for Eurocard, and this was a monthly example. So we're gonna go over to oil and look at a weekly example. And the example that we're gonna be looking at is a bearish example. So we could definitely see price has been falling, not really nicely, I would say. You have although price is falling to the downside, you have an inconsistency of just bear candles or bullish candles. So you have green, red, green, red, green, red. So you could see that price every time it falls, it retraces, falls, retraces. All right, but let's not get off a tangent. We're looking at the liquidity sweep. So on the weekly chart, we had this high right here. Okay. And what did we see price do? Price pushed to the upside, swept the high. So if anybody was selling, well, that makes sense because this is a bearish market. So more than likely someone is selling, right? So if someone is selling and their stop loss, of course, goes above the high because they're looking for price to continue lower, what did price do? It swept the high. And then what did it do after? It proceeded to go lower. Now, where did this push start from? This push started from here for the sweep. Okay, so what we would want to see is for price to close below this low. And basically, last week did it for us. So here we kind of had a close here. Okay. No, I mean, it wasn't that significant, but last week we definitely had a close below this low right here, right? A nice clean close, weekly close below this right here, below this low right here. So of course, coming into next week, when the market does open up, we could start looking for opportunities around this zone where so price could move lower to the downside. Okay, so nice and simple. Nice liquidity sweep on the weekly time frame. Let's look at a daily time frame. Let's just jump into the daily chart. Beautiful. Again, NZD USD, we could see that price is bearish. So price has been moving to the downside. However, price has been chopping on the daily time frame. On the higher time frame, we could definitely see clean and clear bearish structure. So we're in the bearish territory. But of course, price cannot just move in one direction forever. Okay, we could see price was slowly chopping up to the upside. And for any trader that trades break and retest, when you see this kind of structure to the upside, which is basically I'm trying to get the word, but it's a bullish channel, I would say. When you see price chopping slowly to the upside in a bullish channel fashion, you know for a fact that price will try to break this channel and continue pushing to the downside. And essentially, this is what we did. We had this high right here, and what did price do? Price pushed to the upside, swept the high. If price truly wanted to close above the high, it would have closed, but no, we have a wick right here. So price pushed to the upside, and then you had a big massive dump to the downside. Okay, I would love to see price break further and close below this low before looking for any retracement or opportunity inside of here, inside of this zone right here. Let me just mark it off. So inside of this zone right here for a sell or continuation to the downside. So this was a daily example. And lastly, we're going to be looking at a 4-hour example. Bullish example. So we had two bullish, two bearish. So all in all, looks good. So we could see price push below this low right here. And after price pushed below this low, you had an expansion to the upside. Okay. So this push down that swept this low, we want to see price close above the high that caused this push to the downside. And price did. Okay. And oftentimes, all you would really need for price for you to get a continuation to the upside is to see price come back into this high or into this zone right here, which it did. I mean, of course, a deeper retracement into the zone would always be better. You know, you could go down to the 15 minutes, you could go down to the 5 minutes and look for a nicer and cleaner market structure shift. But price isn't always going to follow your ideologies. So we could see price came into here just a little bit and did what? A further expansion to the upside. All right. So this is essentially what liquidity sweeps are. We understand that there are stops below highs and lows. Okay. The market makers, they do understand that as well. So this is why price will oftentimes push below a low or push above a high and go in the opposite direction. So I definitely hope that you're able to learn something from this video. If you did learn something from the video, please feel free to leave a sub or leave a like. And of course, I'm going to have something in store for you in the next video. Ciao.